Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Aspie Bridge 2.0, where this time you're going to get all the answers you need right now to solve some of your problems. Just look at a topic more deeply instead of waiting for a bridge builder. Now, yes, you can still have a bridge builder if you want to sit down and have some specialized treatment because general information is harder to take when you have a specific question you want to deal with. So you're still welcome to have a bridge builder if you like. Here at the Aspie Bridge, we're a shared journey, a community where we help each other and it emphasizes understanding and we can have so much more information shared and support given when we work together. And I'd like to welcome back a part of my community, my supportive community. Theresa Garvin was on my podcast 1.0 a couple of times last time, and she rejoins me for a very important topic that I see all the time in Facebook. Should I mask or shouldn't I mask? And we're going to get into that in a moment, but I'd like to first introduce you to Theresa and let her tell you a little about herself. Go ahead, Theresa, tell us about you.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks, Suzanne. I'm really happy to be back here at the new version of the Aspie Bridge. I think the work that you're doing is really inspiring and incredibly supportive for all kinds of communities. So I'm really happy to be back here. So as Suzanne mentioned, we know each other from a coaching community that we've been involved with for several years now, many years. And what I do for work is I'm a licensed independent certified social worker, and I've had a lifetime of providing kids, families, and adults with psychotherapy. But when I got trained in coaching a few years ago, I did a switch to coaching. And Suzanne, just so you may not even know this update, this past November, um, I'm really happy to talk about just for a second that I now do both. I do therapy and coaching depending on what clients' needs are. And I also created a model called Thriving Families, which is a family coaching business I do as well. So thank you, Suzanne.
You're very welcome. And that thriving families is especially important to the Aspie community because we may have the direction, we may have what we want to do in life, but without that community, without having a thriving family to support us,
Mhm,
those ideas are only going to get us so far.
mhm,
We need the perspective of all family members that are willing to help us move forward in life.
mhm.
Yes, we can have the I can do it philosophy, but we're going to find that it's going to be a lot longer, more arduous trip if we
Mhm.
try and do it by ourselves. So, Theresa, I love the idea that it's thriving families, not thriving individuals.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, this is an important topic we're talking about today. To mask or not to mask. A lot of people are like, don't mask anymore. That's part of be authentic. Just don't do it anymore. Well, I don't agree with that entirely. I believe there are times and places where masking can be very effective. Now, here's the thing. Masking is not for the other person.
Mhm,
Masking is for us.
mhm,
When we know we're at that breaking point where we're going to just break down and cry because someone said something or someone did something that hurt us or really affected us, we can mask to hold our emotions. And that way we can find a safer place to be. But before we go there, I'd like to share my weekly cartoon with you. And Teresa and I will talk a little bit over it so you can see what it's all about. In this episode, Emily is Emily, excuse me, Ellen is navigating the world of should she mask and should she not. She asked Dr. Grace all about what is masking. And she's being told that if she masks, she's not being authentically autistic anymore. What do you think of that? Authentically autistic, Teresa?
Well, I actually agree with what you said. I think a couple things you said, Suzanne, that I think are important. number one, the idea of masking really is for the benefit of the person who's doing it and not for people around them. But I can think of several examples off the top of my head where I've worked with clients who have given me explicit details of why and how they masked. For example, a client, an adult male that I had who was diagnosed later in life, kind of gave me a blow by blow picture of what it was like for him to prepare for the office Christmas party
Hmm.
and how exhausting he was. He was talking about how the end of the day, his energy and all of his having to socialize with people, he felt depleted from doing it at work all day. And he said, on top of that, when I go to a party, I know that there are these expectations. So then I have to think about what will people ask me? How am I going to respond? So I try to have some scripts thought of ahead of time. And he said, and then, when I get there, I need to be aware that there will be many conversations going on at once, and that will overload my senses, and that could make me want to leave the room. So, when we talked about why do you go through all this to get through this Christmas party at work, and he said that he really felt like it was important to be connected with people in this way at work and that we talked about how he'll know when to take a break or leave the party early. So if the masking got to be too stressful or overwhelming for him, he has full permission to just exit, go take a break, or call it a night early. But I think that's an example of where he thought ahead. He thinks ahead all the time about when and where he wants to mask and what to do if he doesn't want to mask anymore. I don't know if that's the kind of example you were thinking of, Suzanne, but that's
Yeah,
what came to mind
definitely.
for me.
Definitely. There are so many times that we're in that public space and whether or not we choose to be there, like in the scene that was just showing up. Emily's asking Dr. Grace, do I have to mask if I like my job and I like my coworkers? Absolutely not. If you're in a place of comfort and you
Mhm.
like what you're doing and you like the people you're working with, there is no need to mask because you don't feel judged. And I think that's a big thing right there. I think that's where the initial masking came from is to hide who we really are because we want to save ourselves from judgment. And that would be contorting ourselves to everyone else's comfort level.
Right. Well, can I
Not
add something? Yeah.
absolutely.
No, go ahead and finish your sentence. I didn't mean to
Oh
cut you
yeah,
off,
no,
Suzanne.
I was just gonna say it's like when we feel comfortable, we don't need to mask.
Right. Right. And so maybe this person in the cartoon is in a work setting where she might have other neurodiverse people there that work there. Or she might just have an employer who is very inclusive of all people. And so the environment is set up to be accepting of all. And so that's wonderful. So when atypical or not neurotypical people are in that environment, there's no need, as you said, to mask, you know? Um, and that was one of the things. Oh, I know what I was going to add to what you were saying is it's not just about judgment, in my opinion. I think the masking came about long ago and it still happens today in many public school systems. I'm here in New England where I think we think of ourselves as pretty progressive, but it's still very much expected for Aspies or people on the spectrum to behave a certain way at school. And so that's, given to them by teachers, administrators, special educators, their friends, that they actually are expected. It's not just a fear of judgment, they are being judged. And
Mhm.
so I think it's really important to recognize that some of it's survival. So they grew up just having to get through that school system or the home front where maybe people didn't understand. And so sometimes they were judged, and the expectation was you better mask because you got to fit in. And so we're trying,
Exactly.
right? We're trying to change that now so that people
Exactly.
understand better, right?
Exactly. in the scenario of the cartoon, Ellen is a college student and she goes back and forth to college by way of a bus because she doesn't drive.
Mhm.
And so she's expected to go to the bus station from her house to go to school and then back again. And when she's waiting at the bus station, there are people that don't realize that she's autistic and sensitive to noise. So they're playing their loud music, they're congregating in big groups of people, and that can make us all feel very uncomfortable. Now, as I said, it's not like Ellen's going to drop down on her knees and start to cry and have a meltdown. She's learned that she's going to be able to take a deep breath, say, where am I safer?
Mhm.
Let me go there until my bus comes. And we're going to talk more about that as we go on. So let's just quickly go over what is the difference between masking and choosing to mask. When you're masking, you're doing it for the comfort of other people that are in the room that may not understand any actions, any stims, any way of behaving. Choosing to mask is holding your emotions while you figure out a safe plan so that you can hold yourself dignity right within you. And that's something you do for a short time. Okay, I'm in a bus depot. It's noisy here. There are a lot of people getting around me. I don't like that. Where can I stand where I won't feel so overwhelmed? Oh, yeah, right outside. There's a bench. See, that's as long as the masking needs to take. It's not a from now until the bus comes. It's a moment for you to think, where am I safest? What do I need to keep myself comfortable until I can get to that position where I'm safer? What do you think, Theresa?
That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to protect yourself. And also, it reminds me a lot of coping skills, like finding ways to regulate your nervous system. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I didn't always think about that as masking, but that does, it makes sense about choosing to mask
Yeah. And
by
that's what I
regulating
do
your
a
nervous
lot.
system. And yes, you
Like, for
choose to
instance,
mask so that you
I choose to mask. Like, for
regulate.
instance, when I go to a big conference or a concert that I really like the band, I may not be completely comfortable with the loud music or the strobe lighting, but because I want to have fun, I may mask for a few moments just to regain composure. I may go out for a drink. I may go
Oh,
to the
like my guy at
bathroom.
the,
Yeah, was that
yeah, like the guy I was mentioning at the Christmas party, right? The guy at the
exactly?
Christmas party. He would go and he would already know who he was going to talk to for about 5 minutes, and he had questions already prepared in his head, but he might not stay very long. So same idea, right?
Exactly. Microbursts of autism chaos is what I started to call it. And it's true. I mean, for a short period of time, you can deal with it without falling apart. It's all about
Yes.
finding your sense of safety. Now,
Yep.
we kind of talked about that. How to utilize for self dignity. Well, you can decide, do you want to melt down in the middle of the bus depot or at the Christmas party or in the middle of a concert? No, you want to think about what's going to preserve your respect for yourself. I'm brave.
Hmm.
I can do this. Okay, the music is loud. I need to exit. And that's
Hmm.
self dignity. Or if
Yes.
you're in another
Yes.
place where you can say, okay, there's another space across the room where it's not as crowded. Let me go
Hmm.
there. It's a momentary plan to get to safety. That's what choosing the mask is for self dignity.
Yeah.
Now,
Got it.
Teresa, I know you can help me think of some things, but there are ways that I have my bag here. This is what Ellen might take to go to school. And inside my
Hmm.
bag, and I would love you to think if there's anything else, I have a
Okay.
squishy stim toy.
Mhm.
It's that you
Mhm.
can do. If you're feeling pressure and you can't get out and the bus is just about to come, let's say you're in line, a squishy
Mhm.
bag would help you to regulate. What else will help you regulate? Well, you can pull out a drink of water,
Mhm.
or you can pull out your headphones.
Yeah.
And last but not least, you can pull out a snack.
Yes.
What else do you think you could do, Theresa? What else do you think you could put in your bag to
Well, those were really great examples, and the clients that I've worked with have all shared exactly those. Sometimes maybe if people really like to read, uh, that can soothe them and kind of bring them back into their own safe space internally. Um, so you had a headset, so I'm just going to put with that head noise cancellation, right? But also music, bring your own
music?
music with you
Those are
to
actually
play.
more for music, yes,
Yeah.
to
Oh, okay.
distract me. I
Yeah.
don't, for me, I don't really need
Right.
um headphones. I use the masking, get to a safer place.
Yeah.
But yes, music is great if
Yes.
I can't find that safe space.
Yes. Yes. And just your cell phone or your way to communicate with people too. I think if you
Oh,
either want to play a game on your cell phone while you're having to wait for something. Some people find certain games like Candy Crush or things like that to be calming. And also just knowing that you can text or call if you're feeling like you need a little extra support when you're in an environment that you're not sure you're going to feel so safe in.
exactly. And remember your cord, because there's nothing more stressful than needing that
Mhm.
phone diversion or
Right. So you want
needing
your
that
charger.
connection to someone else, making sure you always have an extra charger in your bag to
Yes.
make sure that you're fully equipped.
Yes.
Sometimes when we find that we don't have anyone around us to make us feel safer, we need to depend on ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Having
We
that
do. We
backpack.
do.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I've worked for most of the years with people who were in high school, middle school, high school, and college who are on the spectrum or just getting diagnosed. And so I remember having to spend, not having to, I had the opportunity to spend some real quality time with somebody who demonstrated like this complete meltdown while out at a very public awning and outing in Boston with their father. And we did fill the backpack. We did exactly all those things you just said. But in addition to that, so I just wanted to throw in another point. They told me that they needed we needed to really work on how to recognize in your body what you're experiencing so you know what you need. So in other
Mhm.
words, for this client, she needed to know, is that because I'm hungry that I'm feeling hot and sweat, is am I just needing water? Um, maybe there's too many people around me, so I need to go someplace quiet, the things you just said. So I think that's important too. I think we all assume that if we have all this bag of everything, we'll know what to use when. But I
Mhm.
think it's actually some real awareness skills that help us to know what to use when and for how long.
Exactly. Oh, I couldn't have said that better because you're right. Maybe there isn't a safe place outside of the bus depot to sit. Maybe there are people out there that may not be comforting,
Mhm.
because they're just wandering around. I know for me, I don't like it when people are just wandering around
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not another seat where you can go to. That's when you can put on your headphones. Maybe your stomach hurts. So that's when you try water first,
Mhm.
because if water can take care of it, then it's just an upset,
Yes.
nervous stomach.
Yeah.
But if your stomach is growling, then you obviously know it's food related.
Yeah.
So you're right. Knowing, being able to master in those few moments, where am I safe? What is my body telling me?
Yeah. And what do I
Those
need? What do I need right now that would calm me down or that would make me feel more grounded? in my body.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So there we have it.
there you
You
go.
have perfect ways that you can cope when you're in that next busy area where you're not comfortable.
Mhm.
And the biggest thing is to know yourself. Know where you're going to feel the most comfortable because no one can tell you where you feel comfortable. Only you know that.
Mhm.
And so today I want to thank my dear friend Theresa for helping me with this important topic.
Thank you.
Teresa, do you have anything left you'd like to add to our conversation?
I just want to say thanks for having me on, and I think it's a really important topic, and all the work you're doing with the Aspie Bridge is really, really important. It bridges our connection, our understanding of each other, and our ability to work together to come up with some solutions.
Exactly. And all I was going to say is with my work with the late diagnosed individual, so many times you've been in the world already. You know what is safe for you. It's not like you have been kept home or protected where you're not out in public. You have been out there a number of times. So you have a good feeling of what makes you feel safe and what doesn't. Lean on what you feel in your body. Your body's going to tell you even more than your mind is going to tell you. Your
Absolutely.
body will tell you, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, it's too loud. And I just want you to say, listen to your body. That's the most important cue. So next week, we're going to talk about okay, so these are great tools, but what if I want more? What if I want more? What if I need more help? Next week, we're going to talk about starting to work with another coach. Now, Teresa and I are perfect sides of this Aspie Bridge. Teresa and I are meeting right in the middle because we have the skills. She's on the other side meeting me. I'm on your side. We can help together. And that's what community is all about. Don't go it alone.
Yes.
We can help you, right, Teresa?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Community is the way to go. Yes.
perfect. So I want to say thank you for now. Thank you, Teresa, for
Thank
joining me
you,
again.
Suzanne.
And maybe there'll be another topic you and I can join on.
Absolutely. Hope so. Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne.